Welcome to my channel Battlefield Stories. The Boeing 777 hummed softly as it sliced through the clouds at 35,000 feet, somewhere over the North Atlantic. The passengers were half asleep, the aisles quiet, the faint glow of cabin lights painting everything in silver-blue calm. To most people on that overnight flight from London to New York, seat 14A* was just another window seat, occupied by a quiet woman who had barely spoken since boarding. She was dressed simply. Jeans, a gray hoodie, hair pulled back into a low bun. Nothing remarkable, but for those who happened to glance her way, the businessman beside her, the flight attendant passing with a tray of coffee, there was something about her stillness. Not cold, not anxious, just centered. Her name on the manifest read Elena Ross. No one knew it was short for Major Elena Ross, U.S. Air Force Ret. Call sign, Spectre. 3 hours into the flight, turbulence began to roll through the cabin. Nothing unusual at first, just the steady jolt that rattled cups and brought nervous smiles. But then, a tone from the cockpit changed. The captain's voice came over the intercom, forced calm masking a crack in his tone. "Ladies and gentlemen, please return to your seats and fasten your seatbelts. We're experiencing some technical issues with one of our engines." The businessman in 14B frowned, lowering his tablet. Technical issues. Great. Elena didn't respond. Her eyes shifted out the window, scanning instinctively. The left engine was spitting faint trails of smoke. She knew that pattern. Compressor stall. Not catastrophic, but dangerous if it cascaded. Her hand twitched toward the seatbelt buckle, muscle memory from a life she no longer lived. The cabin lights flickered once. Twice. Then went dark. A murmur rose. Somewhere in the back, a child began to cry. The captain's voice returned, tighter this time. "Flight attendants, please secure the cabin. We've lost power in engine 2 and are initiating an emergency descent." Elena's mind ran the numbers automatically. Dual failure over the Atlantic. They'd trained for this. Rare. Unlikely. But not impossible. She looked at the businessman beside her. "Sir, tighten your belt. Double-check the latch." He gave a shaky laugh. "You sound like you've done this before." Her eyes didn't leave the window. "You could say that. The next 10 minutes were chaos contained inside metal. Oxygen masks dropped. Luggage tumbled from overhead bins. Passengers clutched hands, whispered prayers. Elena kept her breathing steady, counting. Listening. Watching the subtle dip and roll of the wings. She could tell from the pitch. They were gliding, not free-falling. The captain was fighting to hold altitude. Then, the intercom crackled again. This time, panic edged through professionalism. "Mayday, Mayday, Mayday, this is Atlantic Air 207, both engines have failed. We are declaring an emergency, position 35 north, 55 west, requesting immediate assistance." The static cut him off. The cabin erupted in gasps. Someone screamed. Elena's heart pounded once. Hard. Before instinct took over. She pressed her fingers to her temple, thinking, calculating. They were near Greenland airspace. NATO patrol routes crossed here. But if comms were down? She reached beneath her seat, slid out a small carry-on, and unzipped a compartment no one else would have thought twice about. Inside, beneath a folded sweatshirt, lay a secure band radio transceiver, old, battered, and illegal on a civilian flight. The businessman's eyes widened. "What the hell is that?" "Emergency radio. You just carry that around." "Old habits." She powered it on, adjusted the frequency, and started scanning. For a few tense seconds. Nothing. Then, a faint, familiar static pattern, followed by a clipped American voice. "Falcon 2-1, this is NORAD command. You have 2 unidentified radar signatures in distress corridor Alpha 7. Confirm intercept vector." Elena's pulse quickened. F-22 patrols. U.S. airspace within range. She switched frequencies, thumb hovering over the transmit key. It had been years since she'd used her call sign. She was retired, grounded, ghosted out of the system. But as the cabin lights flickered again and the smell of burning insulation filled the air, she pressed down. "This is Spectre. Repeat, this is Spectre transmitting on emergency frequency. You have a civilian 777 at grid 55 west, 35 north. Dual engine failure. Declaring Mayday. A pause. Then, Spectre. Identify. Her voice hardened. Major Elena Ross, former Air Force. Authentication code Delta Victor 74 Echo. Confirm signal priority now. The silence that followed was deafening. Then the response came, tight with disbelief. Copy. Spectre. Stand by. Dash dash dash. In the cockpit, both pilots were fighting to stabilize the descent. The altimeter spun faster than their training simulations ever had. Mayday repeated. No response, the co-pilot said, voice cracking. Before the captain could reply, a sharp knock hit the cockpit door. A flight attendant's voice, shaking. Captain, there's a passenger here who says she's Air Force and she's talking to someone on a military frequency. The captain blinked. What? The door opened slightly, and Elena stepped in, headset around her neck, calm despite the chaos. Sir, I have NORAD command on comms. You're on intercept vector. 2 Raptors en route. The captain stared at her. Who the hell are you? Just someone who doesn't like falling out of the sky, she said evenly. Maintain glide. You've got 5 minutes to vector east. There's an alternate strip at Thule Air Base. The co-pilot checked his charts, disbelief written across his face. That's over 500 miles. You'll make it. Winds with us. Dash dash dash. Above the clouds, 2 F-22 Raptors sliced through the dark, contrails glowing faintly in the moonlight. Command, Falcon 2-1 and 2-2, visual on target. Civilian bird, low altitude. Requesting confirmation on assisting pilot Spectre. Confirmed. Spectre is on board the aircraft. The lead pilot froze. Say again. Confirmed. Falcon. Spectre is live. You are cleared for escort. The pilot exhaled slowly, awe creeping into his voice. I thought Spectre was just a call sign. A ghost story. His wingman chuckled. Guess the ghost's still flying. Dash dash dash. Inside the 777, the atmosphere shifted. Panic still lingered, but something steadier ran beneath it, hope. Elena moved to the cockpit jump seat, relaying coordinates. 2 Raptors are on hour 6. They'll vector us to base approach. The captain shook his head, half in disbelief. How do you know this stuff? I used to teach it, she said simply. The co-pilot gave a weak laugh. You just saved 240 people, ma'am. Not yet, she murmured. We still have to land. Dash dash dash. As the lights of Greenland's coast shimmered faintly below, the crippled jet descended in a long, desperate glide. The Raptors flanked them, sleek and silent guardians against the endless dark. Atlantic 207, this is Falcon 2-1, came the radio voice. We're guiding you to Thule runway 02. Winds are stable, you're clear to land. Elena smiled faintly. Copy that, Falcon. Appreciate the escort. The pilot's voice paused, almost reverent. Spectre, it's an honor. Dash dash dash. The landing was rough. Metal screeched. Sparks flew, but the plane stayed upright. When it finally rolled to a stop, the cabin erupted in sobs and applause. Fire crews swarmed the tarmac. Passengers stumbled out, clutching one another, crying under the cold night air. The captain turned to Elena, shaking his head in wonder. You just flew us home, Major. Elena smiled faintly, unbuckling her belt. No, Captain, you did. I just reminded you where the ground was. Dash dash dash. Later, inside the hangar where the passengers were gathered, an Air Force officer approached. Major Elena Ross, she nodded. The officer saluted sharply. Ma'am, NORAD sends its regards. Command confirmed your call sign. They thought you were gone. Elena's expression softened. Ghosts have a way of showing up when they're needed most. The officer smiled. Ma'am, the Raptor's pilots wanted to pass along a message. He handed her a small note scribbled on flight paper. It read, Welcome home, Spectre. Asterisk. Elena folded it quietly, slipped it into her pocket, and glanced out the hangar doors toward the dark sky, where the 2 Raptors still circled once before vanishing into the horizon. For a long moment, she just stood there, feeling the hum of engines far above. Then she whispered under her breath, a call sign, a memory, a promise kept to the sky. Spectre, wheels down, and somewhere, far off, a voice replied through static only she could hear. Copy that, Spectre. Welcome back.